What prompted this storytelling was the importance of thinking about people that had a great influence and impact on the life of Japanese Baptist Church. And sometimes you don't realize just in front of your eyes how profound something really was. And I was reflecting on some of the history, some of the ministry and programs of Japanese Baptist Church. And I remembered the annual Japanese Baptist Church Sukiyaki dinner. And it was an all-church event, all hands on deck. And it ran from 1972 to 2019. And it was a wonderful expression of food and friendship and a cultural arts program as well. And it was in this cultural arts program that Dr. Akira Ishimaru and Mr. Miyata expressed their love and their talent by performing the Lord's Prayer in calligraphy and Shigin. Dr. Akira Ishimaru and Mr. Takemitsu Miyata were good friends, and they both had their careers. Dr. Ishimaru was a professor at the University of Washington in electrical engineering. Mr. Miyata was a businessman. He ran a gardening and landscape business. But both of those men had a creative passion, and they shared their gifting, they shared their talents at the Japanese Baptist Church cultural arts program. And I'd have to say that as I think back on those years, their artistic expression, their harmonious blending of two art forms, they created something very profound. Shodo is Japanese calligraphy. It is part of traditional Japanese culture. Children learn it from a very young age. And just like handwriting, each one has their own style, but it is based in discipline and very intentional brush strokes. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful form of writing.
Growing up, I can remember my father doing a lot of calligraphy at home. I picture him at the dining room table. He'd have everything set up, and he would just be practicing writing.
Shodo was something that Dr. Akira loved to do, and it was part of his life. Mr. Miyata also was influenced by Shigin as he was introduced and invited to come and learn this form of poetry music. And he became quite proficient, and he became a master sensei. And so through his love of teaching and performing, he introduced this art and shared it with so many different people and groups.
My dad was a very gifted singer. At home, he has a beautiful voice. And so taking up Shigin, it was just a natural fit for him in terms of Shigin is an art form where it's based on poetry, mental discipline, and philosophy. And so a lot of samurais back centuries ago, they would practice Shigin.
Shigin is one of the very interesting Japanese art, old art. And the people who are interested, they try to learn more about calligraphy. Mr. Miyata was one of the very good teachers in Shigin, and he was very famous.
So how did this performance come to be? Mrs. Yuko Ishimaru was the program director for the cultural arts program connected to the sukiyaki dinner.
As a result of Mrs. Ishimaru and my mother being very good friends, both Dr. Ishimaru and my dad met through their wives.
Mr. Miyata and I became friends at the church. And my wife, Yuko, was in charge of sukiyaki dinner.
So through the wives, Yuko and Mrs. Keiko Miyabe, they encouraged their husbands to work together and to come up with a performance.
And I think the collaboration of the Shodo-gin, which is the Shodo and the Shigin of the Lord's Prayer, it could have just happened over a dinner of sushi or something like that, with Dr. Ishimaru enjoying Shigin, Mrs. Ishimaru with her musical background, my dad enjoying Shigin, and my mother wanting my dad to, participate in church because she did want him to come to church. I think that was just how it all started.
Every year they had a dinner, and then after dinner they had this entertainment that introduced a number of interesting art. And one year Yuko asked Mr. Miyabe to show the Shigin, and that was the beginning.
The two of them selected the Lord's Prayer as the topic of their music performance. And the Lord's Prayer is the beloved prayer of Christians. It holds a central piece in the faith. And so for them to choose the Lord's Prayer, I think has, again, such deep meaning and significance.
He came up with this very nice Shigin and Lord's Prayer, which is very, very good, very unique, and very good. And I liked it so much.
In the Lord's Prayer, it's an invitation to communicate with the God who loves them. He encourages them to share their needs, ask for help, trust God for provisions, and to know that they can be assured that He is right there with them. One thing that I think is significant is they chose the Lord's Prayer, and then Mr. Miyabe needed to make his original score of how the Lord's Prayer would be put into the form of Shigin. And so that took a lot of time and thought as to how he would take those verses, those lyrics, and fashion them through his own style of breathing and pausing and creating this beautiful rendition of the Lord's Prayer. It had never been done before.
Mr. Miyabe is so good that I asked him to come up with this change here. You have to change, adjust for Lord's Prayer to be the same number of words, singing high and low, but then you have to be completely conform to Lord's Prayer. So it's not an easy job.
It was original. It wasn't anything that he had a template for. He scripted it. He made the composition. And then right alongside of that, Dr. Akira, who probably did most of his Shodo sitting at a table in the comfort of a chair and a table, using his brush and ink and paper. To do this performance, he would be standing, he'd be holding the ink and brush, and then standing, and he began simultaneous, synchronized with Mr. Miyabe's singing.
Mr. Miyabe spent lots of time to make adjustments. I worked with Mr. Miyabe, so, we worked together. Yuko knows that the day before sukiyaki dinner, we had to try many times.
I was surprised myself that every time he paused to put the more sumi on the timing goes really close together.
I know that he told me a lot of practice with the timing, because he has told me that the singing that Mr. Miyabe did and is very unique.
By that time, he remembers everything. Okay? And so he just did the Shigin himself. And then I wrote it. You cannot just copy it. You have to memorize everything, every detail. It was lots of fun, because Mr. Miyabe is such a great Shigin player that I never saw before.
And little did we know that they would come up with something so harmonious, beautifully artistic, and truly profound.
I did watch my dad and Dr. Ishimaru perform together. They made the Shodogin very effortless, but that's the sign of true mastery. It does require mental focus. For Dr. Ishimaru to stand and to write with a steady hand, with the mental focus of hearing my dad, that takes a high level of discipline. And the same with my dad, to synchronize together in a harmonious blend. That is truly an art expression of mastery.
I noticed when they performed that Mr. Miyabe was always facing the audience. He never turned around to see where my father was on the calligraphy. So I think that took a lot of practice.
This is the prayer of God's heart. And so the Lord's Prayer is the perfect choice of Mr. Miyabe and Dr. Akira to perform it together in such a beautiful way.
Whenever my dad would perform the Lord's Prayer or any other Shigin piece, he would always fold it up and put it in his breast pocket of his jacket. And I knew that it was just a piece of paper that he composed himself. My mother had written out the Lord's Prayer, and so that's why he had this emotional attachment to it. So I was frantically looking for this piece, the Shigin piece, before the interview. And yesterday when I prayed fervently to find this piece, a voice said, "Look in the jacket pocket of your dad's suit." And I found it. And when I opened it up, it's the original. My mother wrote it. My dad put his special things that pertaining to Shigin. And Yeah, you can even see the stain marks. But this is, I'm so glad I did this interview now because it's just a wonderful reminder of my parents.
As I have been reflecting on some memories of life and ministry of Japanese Baptist Church, it's good to reflect, and it's good to remember the things that have made an impact on your lives. And I also thought to myself, but also the present, and who are the people, the talents, and the service that is happening currently. And I immediately thought of several people and was very pleased that when I approached WeiChih Wang, if he'd be interested in sharing his musical talents on this project of the Lord's Prayer. And he eagerly said, yes, I would love to sing. WeiChih has been singing since a child, and throughout his adult life has enjoyed sharing his talent. He realized that voice is not only something that can bring beauty, but also something that can touch deep in someone's heart. And so as he sings, his deep baritone voice, I believe, is a gift from God, and it touches our soul. We have another member of the church that has been a big part of Japanese Baptist worship, and that's Mime Miyata. And she is the church pianist, and she has been with us for over 30 years, faithfully leading us, tuning our hearts toward God in worship. She loves collaborating with people, with other musicians and artists, and enjoys just creating something new and dynamic, such as the Lord's Prayer. I was introduced to Chiyo Sanada, who is a delightful woman who has, from childhood, age 7, loved Shodo, loved Japanese calligraphy. She studied it in school, and she became a teacher, and she has a passion to use Shodo as a way to connect with people. So I'm grateful for WeiChih and Mime and Chiyo, each with their talent and gifting. They have worked together harmoniously to create their expression of the Lord's Prayer. It's one thing to remember the impact of these two men's lives, Dr. Akira and Mr. Miyabe. It's another thing, though, to really capture their legacy and to know that what they did, what they shared, continues to inspire us. And so that was my intention, that was my motivation, to create something in the present and to continue to have art and culture and faith be dynamic and an inspiration to all.